Hey, just got the news about Charlie Watts passing, and I just got to say a couple words. It is Tuesday, the 24th of August. Charlie Watts, 80 years old. It was recently announced that he had to, that he would not be touring and had been in hospital or had some surgery or something. When I heard that news, again, knowing all of us at our age, but Charlie, he's 80, I really did feel that it was just a short matter of time that this would be announced, that his passing. And my whole world, has been focused largely through the lens of music and Beatlemania, or the Beatles, I'll call it that. That whole British invasion had such a tremendous impact on my upbringing, my growing up, and my worldview. And so the Stones, I've, I've had a long checkered history with them, like with David Bowie, sort of a love-hate relationship until I just really with maturity and time, just recognized, their role in the unfolding of rock music. And Charlie Watts' drumming was very important to the magic of the Stones' sound and feeling. Very much like the Beatles, Ringo Starr is very important to the way the Beatles songs worked rhythmically. Same with the Stones. Got to see the Stones in the 2000s, so had a good seat, so I got to observe the band, and it was a joy to watch Charlie's playing because he was never typical, especially the way he played the hi hat. When he would play the beat on the snare, he would hold the hi hat strike, as opposed to everyone hits that's the thing that everyone does. It's when you're doing the straight beat, you hit the hi hat on every beat, and then along with but he had a feel. Charlie had a feel. Hey, Stephanie, I know you're watching. You were just talking to me. I got an appointment coming up. Things are going to be rolling. I had to say something. I wasn't that long ago that I traded and sold a bunch of Rolling Stones albums. I've had many over the years. The ones that I kept are this version of Beggar's Banquet, in 1986 reissue with the toilet cover. And I quite like this album, although Sympathy for the Devil, it never became a song that I liked. It was one that, because of when it rolled out, I still remember the first time I heard it. Similar to I remember the first time I heard Led Zeppelin's first album. Seriously, it was like, what is this? Music is very important, always has been to me. But Street Fighting Man off of this and several other cuts on this are just great. I, of course, kept my lenticular original stereo version, copy of their Satanic Majesty's Request. This again is one where it's an item as much as it is an album I like. It's not a great album. But I think it's an album of its time, of the times. You can have the inner. Yeah, this is in good shape. Charlie, this, for the music world and for the world in general, Charlie's passing is a big one. It is. This is the big loss. This is one of the big ones. Beatles and the Stones. I thought of that song by the House of Love, which I'll have to give a spin. The other Stones album I kept because I really like this whole album is Goat's Head Soup. Again, when this came out, I really got into it. A friend of mine bought it. I didn't get it right away. But, yes, got to give it up for the Stones and Charlie Watts. It'll be, I know that the Stones are working horses in that they love what they do. They're up in age. My guess is that they'll take a pause, a respectful pause for Charlie, but I bet you they'll continue. And I would imagine, like many of us people who love to play music, we would want our bandmates to go on if that's what they want to do, or even if I'm sure Charlie would want the band to continue if that's what they want to do, is just keep playing, really keep playing. It's a life force. Speaking of that, I had a late night, last minute gig with the David Nance band last night, and it was they opened it was at this restaurant La Bouvette, and they opened the doors and the walls, so it was mainly open and outdoorsy, and a lot of the audience sat outdoors. Even though we were rough, because we only had a chance to practice just for an hour before the show, we hadn't been able to rehearse because David has just recently recovered from COVID. Still says, he's not quite straight. But what I'm getting at is the power of music, the communal aspect of it, the playing, the almost like the washing of the water, that Peter Gabriel's song. I think of that when I'm just thinking about the effect of playing live, especially after not playing very much because of COVID. Last night was wonderful. And music is so important to community and to the world and to people in many, many different ways and for many different reasons. So Charlie Watts and the Rolling Stones, their effect on life, on Western history is huge. It really is. And so we lost a great, great man. I recognize Charlie Watts' contribution on many levels. And yes, I actually directly like this, what is seemingly a very simple style of drumming, but a very heartfelt and in its own way, influential way of playing the drums. Rest in peace, Charlie Watts.